Welcome into the Blurred Wire. So we have to do this pop-up episode because we kind of been doing them a little bit was as we've gotten more news about the Marvel Cinematic Universe and stuff. But this is I don't even know if crazy is the right word. So Comic-Con just occurred and Ty and I are gonna have to discuss some of the announcements that were made at Comic-Con by the MCU and Kevin Feige and everyone over at Marvel Studios. But first, got to say hello to our co-host. How you doing today? How are you doing today, Ty?
Bad. I'm feeling recasted. I recast my
Recasted.
good feelings from earlier, and I've casted them into bad feelings. Can you tell the difference?
I think most Marvel fans are with you. Because if you don't know the news yet, first of all, what are you doing? Um, second of all,
How did you hear it from us?
yeah, right. Like, like we're doing this like what 3 days after it was announced. Most people
Right.
have been on it since it came out.
They said no. We're waiting until Ty and Will talk about it.
Got to hear it from the source. So of course, what we are talking about is the San Diego Comic Con announcements,
Mhm.
in which Marvel has announced that the Avengers 5 movie is going to be renamed to Avengers Doomsday, and Doctor Doom will be the main villain, and the actor portraying Doctor Doom will be that gas. Really? Who
Really?
else could it
What?
be?
Oh
I
my
don't.
goodness.
Yeah. And the main villain playing and the actor playing the villain, Doctor Doom, is none
Hmm.
other than Robert Downey Jr. And the crowd goes wild. Um and like the initial reactions, I agree with pretty much everyone's initial reactions. I don't like it.
I
I don't.
don't.
I'm a huge Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. I'm still gonna see this movie when it comes out. They will continuously make money off me in theaters because I will
Mhm.
have to see every Marvel movie in theaters.
Yep.
But I do not like this.
Yeah.
I can't
I'm
get
not the
behind it.
big I'm not the biggest MCU fan ever, but man, do I hate this. And
Yep.
do I get why people hate this
Yeah.
for being a
Because
little bit more removed than you. I so get it because what a horrible decision.
yep, it reeks of desperation.
Hmm.
And it's not even, and I'm like, who are you trying to appeal to? Because it's like you had to know in some kind of focus group that your diehard fans are not going to like this. And your
Hmm.
casual fans that feel like the MCU has fallen off and will only, come into a movie if they really like it. I don't think they're going to come back because Robert Downey Jr. is in Doomsday because they're going to have missed all of the lore that built up to Doomsday. Like
Hmm.
all of the Marvel projects, everything that's come out since Endgame is going to be tied into Doomsday. So it's like you can't like they're not going to come back just because Robert Downey Jr. is in it. And
Hmm.
I'm like, I mean, first of all, he's a fantastic actor. Don't get me wrong. I think he's what he's done with his life is incredible, and I think he's a great shining example. Like he could be a great role model for a lot of people that have struggled with the same things that he struggled with. Um, but like it's over. It's good. You're done. Your
Yeah.
set time is over. You no need to keep going. We did not ask for an encore. Like this is like
Right.
the band that like plays their set, does their final song, and nobody yells encore, and like the lights come on, and they just come back out on stage. It's
And
like,
I think people would be saying that if he was also like, even if he was just playing Iron Man
oh
again,
yeah.
like, hey, dude, you're done. Like, let's move forward. The fact that he's just playing a new character and the Russo brothers have gone out of their way to confirm that it is not a Tony Stark variant.
Variant.
Like it's because that was the one thing that I'm like, it would be really dumb, but at least I would get why you would have to like it would be like ruining like the origins of the character, I think, a little bit by making him a Tony Stark variant. But at least I would get why you would need to cat. There's no reason to cast aside from just like, hey, remember Robert Downey Jr.
Remember,
Can you please see our movie?
remember
Please.
he just won an Oscar for Oppenheimer. You guys remember that? He's a good actor.
And if they're gonna if they're going to recast, why not recast the character that was originally planned out before with like
Kang.
yeah, with Kang. Thank you. Like recast Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
It
Like I
does.
want Doctor Doom in my MCU and I want to see him, but again, Jonathan Majors wasn't so fantastic that he couldn't be recasted.
Hmm.
Like
Right.
I could name you three actors that could do what he did. John David
Right.
Washington could do what he did. Lakeith Stanfield could do what he did.
It
Any of
it
those guys.
would it wasn't um uh like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man,
Yeah.
or it wasn't like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, where it's like, oh, these people were kind of born to play this character. It's
Even
impossible to imagine anyone else
even
playing it.
Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. I mean
Hmm.
that because of the circumstance surrounding it, like and Marvel fans are very divided. Some people hated Wakanda Forever and thought that they should have recasted him. Um I personally I'm like I think it was the right move to not recast him because I think he
Hmm.
did leave his mark and that character kind of belongs that specific character I feel like belongs to him and like
Hmm.
he had to die with him.
Hmm.
Um and a lot of people are split on just that. But Jonathan
Hmm.
Majors wasn't even close to that. Like, just pick another actor. You did it for War Machine. You did it for
Right.
Hulk. Like, it's fine.
Right.
You did it for Cassie Lang.
Right. And you're doing it now. Like why pick and choose where there has to be some other reason as to why they feel Kang wasn't going to be as as big of a threat. I don't know if it's potentially like responses from his inclusion in the Loki show or in Quantumanium or what like what else, but I it cannot just be from a casting issue.
But
And if
I'm
it
like,
is, I think that's just what they're using to like they're blaming it on. I think there's something deeper there.
I think it was a combination because they weren't expecting the response to Quantumania. And then
Hmm.
Jonathan Majors got in trouble. So they were like, maybe we should just drop it. But
Hmm.
again, the issue in Quantumania was not Kang. That was not
Hmm.
the problem with the movie.
Hmm.
Like, the problem was what you did with the movie. The problem was you still had them win, and Kang was supposed to be this big villain who can challenge the Avengers, and you had him get defeated by ants. Like,
Hmm.
that was the problem. That was the
Right.
whole issue. Like, the character itself was fine, and the movie would have been fine if you let Kang escape the quantum realm. And that would have
Hmm.
led perfectly into the next Avengers movie. It's like
Hmm.
you just dropped the ball when it came to like the actual plot and how, and you wanted this movie to be a feel good comedy when you were telling everybody that it's not, it's going to be different. And so, like, to me, you still had enough foundation to continue using Kang. I mean, you gathered the Council of Kangs,
Hmm.
and and Jonathan Majors did a great job. Obviously, he's a much better actor than he is a person.
Hmm.
Well, based upon what happened to him. But again, there are plenty of actors who have done who could do that. Like Lakeith Stanfield can easily capture the eccentric side of him. Like he could do it because I've watched a lot of Atlanta. So
Hmm.
like I could definitely see him doing it. And John David Washington can capture that intense side. And I don't think it would be hard for either one of them to switch back and forth between the different personalities that he has. So I'm like, I don't to go this whole route and change everything. I think it was like we need to bring some spark back to the MCU and we need to recast Kang. It's like, well, we can't really. I think they knew they couldn't cast Robert Downey Jr. as Kang because like
Hmm.
it would the optics would not be right to like have to
Hmm.
recast and as someone played by a black actor to a white actor. It just wouldn't work. So they were like,
Right.
what if
It
we
would
just
be like
knew?
it'd be like those memes where it's like a Barack Obama biopic and it's played by Ryan Gosling.
Yes, 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 yes. All those things that people are like, why don't we just do that? Yeah.
Introducing Kang the Conqueror, and it's just Robert Downey Jr. again.
Which, and again, like if it was a white actor playing Kang in the first place, it probably would have been fine. But they chose Jonathan Majors for a reason.
But regardless, to recast a character that's already not just in the MCU, but integral and like one of the core elements of it for a long time, with a poignant death at the end of his character arc, to have that be the guy that you bring back, this feels like the worst of comic books when death means nothing,
oh yeah,
like when they just revive characters for, exposition, just to
yeah,
get us to the next point. And this feels like, yeah, you're adapting it all right
yeah.
in
And it's
real
like,
life, but it's
again, I know that like, and again, we know that like Tony Stark is dead, right? And
Mhm,
Robert Downey Jr. isn't playing another hero; he's playing a villain. But
mhm,
it's like, again, if you want us to stick with that, if you want Endgame's impact to remain with us, leave it alone. You gotta
mhm,
just let it sit. Tony Stark is dead. That means Robert Downey Jr. is also dead. They are dead.
mhm,
They are gone.
mhm,
And this, it feels desperate. It feels, I'm okay that the Russo brothers are coming back to direct Doomsday and Secret Wars. But even the story surrounding it, apparently people are saying that like it's pretty much because no other director wanted to do it. And like at one
yeah,
point they were eyeing Sean Levy, and I don't know if he decided he didn't want to do it. And he just did Deadpool and Wolverine. Destin Daniel Cretton, who I thought did a great job with Shang-Chi, I guess tapped out of the project once it seemed like there wasn't, a whole lot of explanation as to where it was going.
yeah,
And, it's like every time you hear something, it kind of just like brings it all back. Like the Russo brothers are coming back to direct Avengers. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. They did a great job with the four movies that they did in the MCU. And
mhm,
then you hear that like, yeah, it's because no other director really wanted to come back. And
mhm,
and then to bring back Robert Downey Jr. and just like flood us with all this nostalgia,
mhm.
I'm
It
not here
really
for it.
reeks of like there is no plan, there is no faith in the people who are
Yep.
trying to do something interesting. It just all reeks of trying to make as much money as you can out of this situation. And that is the biggest priority. Like
Making it up
the
as you
magic,
go
like
along.
the magic of trying to tell this interconnected story through this series of movies was so unique. And I don't think anybody has done anything to that. No one's done anything to that level or
Hmm.
scale, as the MCU did with its, Infinity. What is it called? The Infinity Saga.
Hmm.
With the Infinity Saga, but now they're just trying to strike lightning or capture lightning in a bottle again.
Yep.
They already did it once, and they think themselves able to do it twice, and it's gonna just crash, I'm afraid.
And it's like I think they're so used to churning out box office hits and everything too that like I think it's been like almost like an ego trip to like kind of have to like scale back and realize, okay, not every movie is going to cross $2 billion. Like,
Mm-hmm.
some of the movies aren't going to do that high. Some of the movies you might be lucky just to break even.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like people say the MCU is in a slump, and like it kind of is. But financially, I mean, it's not that much of in a slump. Like 2023 had two of its worst performing movies ever based upon their budgets with
Mm-hmm.
Quantumania and the Marvels. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 still made enough to even cover the losses of the Marvels and Quantumania. Now, usually in a
Mm-hmm.
film franchise, you can't use a film from another franchise to say, like, okay, the losses were covered by that based upon that. But it's like, it's not like you guys are like bleeding money or hemorrhaging money. Like, you still have your franchise has still made over $30 billion. You
Right.
can still just and like I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is right for this part. Like even
Mm-mm.
after Oppenheimer, like I would have much preferred Michael Fassbender. Like that was a popular
Mm-hmm.
fan casting, and to me that shows that like they're not as in touch with the fan base because like if you really really wanted to get in touch with the fan base, if you really wanted to excite them, then cast him because that's who every podcast about Marvel, every message board, everybody is saying, "Oh yeah, Michael Fassbender would make an amazing Doctor Doom from the MCU. And he could
Mhm.
come from the sacred timeline because, again, the X-Men storyline is in a different timeline. So you don't even have confusion over him being Magneto. Doesn't matter because he's from our timeline. But now this Victor Von Doom, he's not even going to be from the MCU's timeline. He's going to come from another universe because we
Mhm.
can't, like, he can't have existed in the 616 continuity and just happen to look just like Tony Stark. That makes no sense. So now
Right.
it's not even like our villain, it's a villain from another universe,
And all
and
without buildup,
all without buildup.
without buildup or fanfare or anything like that. And they were barely. I feel like they were trying to do the same thing with Kang, with trying to rush him in with, I think, not enough buildup with
Hmm.
throwing him into Quantumania. It didn't feel like enough to make him a substantial threat, especially again when he gets defeated by it like a horde of ants. But uh, it feels like they're just trying to rush to get to the same high again. And
And it's like that was DC's problem.
mhm,
Like DC was trying to be you, and that's why they
right.
failed and smoldered. And like
And now you're
now
trying to be DC.
you're making the same, or you're at least making the same mistakes because again, you're not patiently just building up to it's like it's okay to like you hit the high of Endgame. It's like just come all the way back down. And even No
Hmm.
Way Home was like a great high, but you can come all the way back down and just build it back up again. Like it's I don't know. It's it's kind of like at my job, like I work at Live Nation, and like because we sold so many chairs for our VIP section, like
Hmm.
management has like increased the goals of everything, and it feels like that's
Hmm.
what's happening at Disney Studios and Marvel Studios. They're like, oh wow, you guys have made us this much money, so we're gonna need to make sure that your movies gross about 6 billion every year.
Hmm.
Like they've said it so like, but instead of
Right.
allowing it to, hey, we're restarting a whole new saga. So the box office returns aren't going to be as high because, again, we're starting over, getting some new characters in there, continuing some storylines, trying to cut off old ones. Um,
Yep.
and I feel like Disney also like they can't cut off storylines. Like they feel the need to introduce new characters
Hmm.
and they can't like replace them. Like Hawkeye was like the whole comedy thing. It's like they were afraid to. I didn't think Clint Barton necessarily needed to like die, but I mean like he could have
Right.
lost his hand or went blind or something showing that like okay, he's really not Hawkeye anymore. There's
He's
no
permanently out.
He's permanently out. He's being replaced by Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop. And the sad part is you can't just say he's retired because he already came out of retirement. So you kind of
Right.
have to, like, if you want to replace him, you got to mutilate him, basically, make it so it's impossible for him to shoot an
You
arrow.
gotta
That's what you
you
did to
gotta
yourself.
mutilate your heroes.
But now you have so many heroes because the only ones that have died are Black Widow, technically Captain America, and Iron Man. And it's
Mhm.
like everyone else is still, and again, you don't have to kill them all, but like there's so many. There's gonna be like 60 characters in Secret Wars, and I think that's why people like why directors didn't want to do it. And I know comics is a little bit different because in the comics, nobody dies. Everybody's alive. Nobody ever dies. There's really not really consequences.
And
But
when they
in
do, they
movies,
come back very shortly after.
yeah, yeah. So like comics is very rare. I think the only person that stayed dead for a long time is like Gwen Stacy. And even she's been alive in like multiple different universes and become a superhero herself. So like
Right.
it's very difficult to do in comics. But with movies, you can't just bring everyone back because that just lowers the stakes for everything.
Hmm.
Um, but you're now at a point where it's like, okay, to hire a director, they're like, I gotta balance 60 characters.
Hmm.
Yeah, no amount of money will make me want to do that because that's just not possible. Like you know what I mean? And so
Hmm.
it's very sad. I think I don't think the MCU is as in touch with the fan base as I think it is. And especially now in the era where like the fan base can literally talk to Marvel. Because like again, 10 years ago, we didn't have like all this podcasting and all like we had internet blogs, but it wasn't the same where like people were actively talking about it. But it's like again, if you really, really wanted to please the fans and excite them again, Michael Fassbender. He would have been the guy
Right.
because that's who everybody wants. I've yet to meet a single person where I said, "Hey, Michael Fassbender is Doctor Doom," and they were like, "Nah, nah,
Hmm.
let's not do that. Nah, I'm not feeling that." Not a single person, MCU fan or otherwise. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a this just bad move.
Hmm.
And I know
Agreed.
Robert Downey Jr. is probably excited to make another 75 million, but I mean, I don't know. Like, there's no, I don't think this is like a red herring or anything, but I don't think the new Avengers movie is going to gross anything close to Infinity War and Endgame. I think it's going to be fortunate if it beats the first Avengers and crosses a billion.
Hmm.
Maybe, maybe it will. We'll see, but it's just like I said, I like the Russo brothers coming back. But even that just, and that's mainly because again, they know how to handle large ensembles because it is difficult. And a lot of directors probably not wanting to do it is because it is difficult to handle that many characters.
Hmm.
But yeah, just like it feels like all the narrative around the MCU, it's like every time you have a chance to make it better, you're just making it worse.
Hmm.
And I don't know how they correct it. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, did they announce anything else at Comic-Con? I think those were the main things because they
Oh,
confirmed the Russo brothers and just Robert Downey Jr.
um,
They gave
not that
some clips from
I'm
some movies. Um,
not that I'm aware of. I didn't follow it heavily, so I don't know for sure. But
okay. I'm just gonna double check to see biggest Marvel news. Yeah, even like the Fantastic Four and how they're doing like a retro 60s story in another universe with these characters. I'm like,
hmm.
there's no reason why you couldn't have just done a Fantastic Four movie in our universe and
Hmm.
used some really good actors, maybe no name actors, just
Hmm.
some really good actors to play the Fantastic Four, and just done it in our universe. Like they can get their powers in the same universe. It's okay. Like it doesn't have to
Hmm.
go, like you don't have to go to the 60s and make something where like they're stuck in the 60s. It's like, yeah, I don't understand why you have to go through all of that. Like they can still just exist and just not have powers right now. You don't have to
Hmm.
wonder about like why haven't they helped out in anything. It's like, okay, because they don't have powers yet. Okay. That'd be like asking a random person on the street, like, hey, can you help out with this with Thanos invading Earth? No, I don't have powers. Like
Hmm.
they don't have powers yet. So you show them getting powers in our current where we're at in the MCU, 2024, whatever year it's supposed to be.
Right.
So it's just it feels like kind of a mess right now. And I hate describing the MCU as a mess because like what they've accomplished is so incredible and I love it and I still think there have been great movies um in phase 4 and phase 5.
Hmm.
Phase 5 just started. Well, I haven't seen phase 5 just started, so I don't know if there's any. Well, yeah, no, because I really like the Marvels. So I think there has been great movies in phase 4 and phase 5. But the
Hmm.
problem is just um but now I'm like I kind of feel like it's kind of a mess. And it's a mess that as an MCU fan, I'm gonna be in the entire time. They're still gonna make money off of me.
Mm.
So,
The only way to win is by stop playing.
yep. I think that's the only that's the only announcement. Just that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be playing Victor Von Doom. So it kind of feels like Disney is trying to capitalize off of Oppenheimer too, um,
Hmm.
because it did so well in an era where like because like 2023 was a down year for any blockbuster sequel, but the blockbuster like standalone movies did really well because people are like, I don't really want to see, 11 Mission Impossibles or, the 10 Fast and Furious movies. Like all the franchise movies didn't do as well as people thought they would, and then Oppenheimer went crazy. And it kind of just feels like bringing back Robert Downey, like if Oppenheimer didn't go so crazy and Robert Downey Jr. didn't win the Oscar for it, I don't think Disney would be trying to bring him back right now. it feels
Mhm.
like they did that because of the hype and everything that went around him after he found success post his Marvel career, which
Mhm.
again, like is saying like, oh, how do you find success post your Marvel career? Robert Downey Jr. has had one of the most successful acting careers because of Marvel of like
Right.
anybody. So it's like you don't
Right.
like there's no top of the mountain that you still you've reached the top of the mountain. Like you're good.
You're
And
done.
so yeah, and so bringing him back, it feels like they're kind of trying to chase like now like Studios used to be the studio to chase, and now it feels like they're chasing other studios, like chasing Oppenheimer and chasing because like oh we haven't grossed $1 billion since No Way Home, which came out in 2021. So
Mhm.
it's like, and Multiverse of Madness almost made $1 billion. So it's
Mhm.
like, I don't know. I wish I could just be like, relax, like just go up to the studio, just relax. But oh well,
Right.
yeah. I guess that's So I guess let us know your thoughts. Do you like Robert
Mhm.
Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom? Clearly we feel the same way about it and are not
Yeah.
excited.
Are you excited
Um,
for the Doomsday movie coming out? Are you excited for the change of focus? Let us know what you think.
and how are they gonna even do it? Because like they're gonna have to like come up with so like is he gonna be in the Fantastic Four movie too? Like, because they got to
Mhm.
come up with some kind of multiverse origin. Because again, he can't come from ours. So the new
Mhm.
Avengers movie, the Russo brothers are gonna have to explain how he came from another dimension and is now coming into our dimension. In addition to having 60 characters to roll into the story.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can see why. Not really
It's gonna
feeling
be
it.
a hot mess.
But I'm gonna go see it anyway. So let us know your thoughts. And I guess until next time, we're gonna go see pretty exciting. I'm driving all the way from Charlotte to Florida tonight to go see Deadpool and Wolverine. So with my co-host Ty, of course, we're gonna go see it together. Because there's nothing like seeing a movie together in person. Um, so
Absolutely.
so next
And I
week we'll
can't
do
drive just because of
yeah. So next week we'll have the breakdown on that. Man, it is so hard to stay off the internet since it's come out because there are so many spoilers out there. I'm like, I literally have to like open YouTube like with my hand over
Mhm.
the thumbnails to like have type whatever I'm looking for. But anyway, so we should have that video out next week. And yeah, let us know your thoughts on this whole Comic Con fiasco. And usually I use that term in a good way, but not this time.
The Lupe way.
Yeah, a little bit way. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time.
Till then.